My courtesy to our flexible learning tutor, Sir Orlando, to my fellow classmates in this STI course. Good day, everyone. I would like to share to you my report entitled The Face of Philippine Education System in Post-Pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Muhyiddin Kading. In the midst of a pandemic, the least prepared families have had even more difficulties in dealing with the schooling of their children. Now that face-to-face is resumed, it is crucial to reduce dropouts and improve quality to fight poverty. The Philippines has returned to face-to-face classes 2 years after closing schools due to pandemic. According to the World Bank, when the pandemic began in 2020, only 50% of the Filipino population used the internet, but digital education became the most common means of teaching. Taking into account that in the Philippines, digital education has lasted longer than in most of the states in the region. Despite the lack of connectivity and tools for it, it is pertinent to ask how education is after 2 years with empty schools. In fact, the country recently made preschool education universal and compulsory and added 2 secondary school courses, and that's the birth of K-12 basic education in the Philippines. The Pantawid Pamilya program has helped improve the enrollments of the children and adolescents, as well as the health care of the beneficiaries. This is essential since access to these services determine future success and contribute to inclusive growth. The Philippines is quite advanced in access to low-tech systems, and according to the World Bank, in 2020, it had 137 mobile lines for every 100 people, a figure that is even higher than that of European countries. Those are the things that makes the Philippines has its strong points. And now, let us talk about the weakest points in the Philippines, and that's what we as educators are keep on addressing the concerns. First and foremost, the Philippines has some relevant problems in the field of education, such as being one of the worst in the world in reading comprehension. Now, there is a risk that the improvement that the Philippines has had in the recent years in some educational indicators will be lost. Unequal access to a computer and the internet. For example, during 2 years, the education of a rich child in Manila, the capital, has not been the same as that of another poor child in the far-flung areas of the Philippines. High educational technology based on complex computer programs is not always equally useful for all geographic areas, and not everyone has it within their reach. It is closely followed by the lack of personal interest and that of their close nucleus, which demonstrates the little confidence that exists for its real results in the medium and the long term, and the impossibility of staying in school due to having to attend the family needs. People who come from poor families have lower levels of schooling and are less likely to receive it in the future. Workers without secondary education have less income and more likely to fall into poverty. Non-tuition costs are a significant burden for the most vulnerable, while wealthier households spend more per child on learning materials, private tutors, and after-school classes, having a significant impact on learning and their future productivity in the labor market. It is crucial to improve the educational quality of the country and promote it to fight against poverty. The hopes and dreams of every Filipino learners centered in the government's efforts. It is necessary that governments, including the Philippines, to implement inclusive public policies that promote long-term growth through the alleviation of poverty, which must first be tackled through beneath health and better education. Encourage a greater proportion of class and school time to be spent on reading and language activities. Foundational reading skills should be highlighted and supported. And last, develop school programs that foster a stronger community and parental engagement in children's learning programs, because our school community stakeholders are the one who give us a strong connection and gets a strong support, especially in the implementation of school programs. With this, it is our responsibility to establish a partnership with our stakeholders. That's all. Thank you.